They use the bumpers. A nudge, a push. Can Ambrose save it? To the checkered flag. Who gets here first?
Clear, clear. Go back to you.
9, Keselowski 2, final quarter. Marcus Ambrose is going to win at Watkins Glen in a remarkable last lap tournament.
All right, apologize guys here. Let us check the cameras. First one we've done of these, so we've got to figure things out here. Just a reminder that you do have to interact or at least chat at least once in the chat. We're just going to go through kind of a team ranking or player or positional rankings. I do a tier 1, like players that were outside the top 10 last year. We're going to break into it. Sleepers. Anybody really outside the top 20 average draft position this year. Bust, people that were big time last year, top 10 in their positional rankings, and a all rookie team. Just going to check and see exactly who's here just now. Give me 1 second. What's up, TJ, Brad, Robert?
Thanks for joining, gang.
Dylan Brown come in with that was a good hit. I think he's talking about last night. We had a few good run on some pink TJs. Like I said, guys, the only thing I do is comment at some point. It'll last about, we're going to try to make it last about 30 minutes. So first, I'll go with my quarterback rankings. I kind of thought about this for a while, is because NFL defenses, you give them an all season, they figure things out. Lamar was an anomaly last year. He had a bunch of rushing touchdowns, but you know, he's different. You know, he's like Vic, and they didn't really figure out Vic. So I had to stay with Lamar at number 1. Mahomes is probably who I should have put at number 1, but Lamar has too many rushing options, too many yards, touchdowns. Patrick's, you know, I mean, he's generational, probably end up as the greatest ever. But third, I got Russell. Russell just kind of does everything correctly. Yeah, what's up, Martin? Russell just does everything correctly. He's a winner. It just seemed like last year he never really got things going and still ended up as one of the best fantasy quarterbacks in the league. I mean, he had hurt wide receivers, line was decimated. Yeah, couldn't keep a tight end on the field. He's got better weapons. Metcalf's a year older. His line's more better than they were. What's up, Chad, Brad, Philip? They're better than they were, so I mean, I could easily see Russell moving into the second spot and Lamar dropping down to third. But like I said, Lamar's just got too much upside with all the rushing. Deshaun Watson's kind of he's kind of a poor man's Russell Wilson. I put Russell Watson. Did you see that? All right, it is Wilson, guys. It's not Russell Watson. Don't try to draft him.
He got married.
Yep. But Deshaun is, I mean, he does everything. I do think, in hindsight, I don't even know if I should put him in the top 5. I don't know if the coaching staff's out to just blow that team up. It just seems like every move they make, you just sit there and scratch their head. And you're just like, what are you guys doing? And then they'll they'll double down and do it again. So, Kyler Murray, I thought Kyler Murray was special the last 4, 5, 6 games of the season. Kyler Murray stats prorated out the last 2 or 3 games, or a handful of games. He was as good as anyone. That's why I went with Kyler Murray. Probably a little bit of I try not to just rock chalk the whole time. But I do think Kyler Murray's a good option at the 5 spot. If you can get him probably round 4 or 5, I don't think you'll regret it, because outside of Lamar, he's going to be the best running dual threat quarterback out there. That offense likes to play fast pace. What's up, Mark Allen? We're doing great. Murray likes to play, Shanahan likes to play fast pace. Then you add in Hopkins. They made their running backs last year were special down the stretch too. The receivers are better. Fitz is 74 and still just catching touchdowns. So I think Kyler's going to have a good season this year. I'm looking at Chuck's rankings. They're pretty similar. The only thing that varies is the Tom Brady. But I'll let him go over his list and why. I'm going to try to open up my beer here.
Yep, in our lists are very similar, just a couple of swap places and stuff. I think Lamar will probably regress back a little bit as far as the rushing yards and everything that he has. I mean, he just started the season on a ridiculous tear. I just don't know if that's sustainable. Who knows? He may prove us wrong. I think Pat will be the top rated QB. He was hurt a couple weeks last year that brought down his scores overall. He was in the running for that the whole time. He didn't really lose anything. Their best running back is opting out this year, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to step in, and I think it's probably going to be a pretty good replacement, if not better. I was pretty electric at LSU. Lamar, he didn't lose hardly anybody. Backup tight end, that was about it. But I don't think he'll have the rushing like he did last year. I think that teams will have more film on him, devise new ways, and he can only take so many hits. He get hurt sooner or later as well. Russell, like you said, it's just automatic. 3,000 yards and 30 TDs, I think, for like three years straight. Normally 4th or 5th QB off the list there, so you can't go wrong with him if you can get him. 5th, 6th round. Deshaun, they do keep trying to tear him down as far as the weapons that he has. I think if David Johnson can stay healthy, that's the best running back they've had since Arian Foster. So hopefully that'll help him out a little bit. Will Fuller, and whoever else they can get to catch the ball. Kute, can't remember the guy's name.
Cootie.
I think that he'll do whatever he needs to do. Just like watched him all through college. He just makes plays, and I don't think that defense is going to be quite that good this year. So they're going to be throwing a lot. So, and then TB12. I think he's going to be out on a mission to prove everybody wrong that it wasn't a Bill Belichick, not part of the system. He's the real deal. He's got tons of weapons. He's going to have Gronk back, which I don't think Gronk's worth a tight end 1 spot this year, maybe. but Godwin, Mike Evans, Ronald Jones isn't the greatest pass catching running back, but if they utilize running backs at all like they did in New England, Vaughn, I can't remember his name, the rookie they have, I think he's going to be great out of the backfield, so I think he'll crack in the top 5.
All right. I mean, I don't hate the list. It's just basically positional rank or spot rankings. It's just Tom Brady has to significantly fall off, and I don't know at that age if you get your arm strength back. There was definitely a drop off, or I thought there was, but he is loaded down with weapons.
Yeah. Who did he have to throw to last year? Name somebody besides Julian Edelman.
It's the running back.
James White.
No.
Deshaun Harry.
The rookie wide receiver they had last year. What was his name?
Keneal Harry.
Yeah. All right.
EB for one game.
All right, on to running backs. This was a very, again, I try to not rock chalk. Every pick, some of it was, some of it wasn't, but I'll go through. I think if you have the first pick and you don't take Christian, you need to quit fantasy football forever. Ever. Like, I mean, the guy's a top 10 wide receiver and a top 10 running back. So if you don't take Christian first pick, quit fantasy football. Tell him you resign effective immediately. I don't care if PPR, standard, keeper. I don't care. If you don't take him first, quit your league.
What, 1,000 yards receiving and rushing last year?
And yeah, like 90.
Or fourth to do it. Yeah, 90 receptions.
Yeah, I mean, it's absurd. Like, I mean, he's the perfect fantasy player. Saquon, talent-wise, Saquon's the best running back in the NFL, and fantasy-wise, he may be the best running back in the NFL. But he's got to get better weapons around him. Daniel Jones was in his rookie year, which he played okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't the best, but they don't have a lot of other options. Everybody knows shut down Saquon, win the game. That's you see 8, 9 in the box with 2 cornerbacks cheating off the edges. Dalvin Cook, outside of Christian, Dalvin Cook was the best back last year. That completely looked like a different team when he wasn't on the field. They were one of the best teams in the NFL offensively. You took him off the field and they looked like one of the worst. You've seen that in the playoffs. They could lose receivers, banged up quarterbacks. Their offense chugged along as long as Cook was on the field. As soon as he come off, I'm not big on Kamara. It's a production based. Yeah, it's a production based. He hit or miss. He could have a big season. Chuck's got him at 3, but I'm just not that big on him. Chubb's a bum. I like Chubb a lot, but then I have Ezekiel. Painful as it is to say, Ezekiel's probably the most fundamentally, like you're going to get 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns. I think he's the safest, most consistent back out there. I mean,
outside of McCaffrey.
Safe wise, I mean, Christian is not that big, bulky running back. So I would say safe, just pure safeness. Ezekiel's probably the best back. I went with Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley, I could put him in my fantasy tiers, sleepers. I could put him in all those because he's somewhere right around 20th in most average draft positions. But I think Todd Gurley's a lot like Adrian Peterson with injuries and people putting him down and being on top of him. I think he easily ends up in the top 5. He has all the weapons around him, a great offensive line, a good quarterback. He's got Julio, who's going to take people out of the box. You can't put 8 in the box against the Falcons as long as Julio's on the other side. So I think Todd Gurley has a monster year. Maybe not what he was previously, but I think he's pretty damn close. So that's why I went with him. I like my 5. And I think 3 through about 8, you're probably splitting hairs. There's usually not 20 points difference in between the running backs. So flip a coin on those. So shut your damn mouth, Chung Wei. On to you, Chuck.
Yeah, I don't know about Gurley there. I mean, he could very well be top 5, but he could very well be top 25 if he's lucky. I think that he's going to be on a pitch count for sure. I think everybody's still scared of control there. His injuries in the past, but I can agree he's like AP, but also like AP, there's that injury risk that knock him out. Nothing to say more about McCaffrey. I mean, dude's just a beast. He should be automatically the first person off the board at every single draft. Saquon also agreed. Get out of the backfield as well. He had some ridiculous catch and runs last year, so I do think Kamara is going to get quite a bit more work, especially out of the backfield. I think they're going to do a lot more passing with him. That was a lot of things that saved his production last year, especially in PPR leagues. I think they're going to get more use out of him. Zeke.
Stop yelling, Robert.
We'll stop for questions in just a minute. But I think Zeke, like I said, he's probably got the highest floor of any back outside of Christian McCaffrey. I think McCaffrey, especially PPR, has a higher floor than Zeke. He's durable. He's going to be there, and he's going to get yards almost every game. I decided to put somebody in not in a lot of people's top 5s probably, but I think Edwards-Helaire is just in the perfect position for any running back coming into the league. One of the best quarterbacks, great wide receivers, lots of speed out there. There's no way they're going to be able to pack the box almost at any time with who they have there. So Morris, I can't remember their starting running back's name, Morrison. He opted out, so he's pretty much defaults into the first running back spot if he can get up to speed. That's the only thing that I kind of erred on this one, is moving a lot faster in the NFL than it was in college for him, but he can catch on to that. I think he's going to have a lot of ways to use him.
Well, I had to open it with a pair of unused fingernail clippers, so we got to it. We're resourceful. We'll go ahead and talk about a few of the comments before we go on to wide receivers. I do like Chubb. I seriously debated putting Chubb up there. It's just I don't trust Cleveland in anything and everything. Wide receiver, quarterbacks. I mean, they could easily end up 13-3 or 3-13. I can't put faith in him at any position. I did Baker last year, and that didn't pay off. I just don't believe in Cleveland. I don't think they have the right mentality. I think their coaches suck, and it starts from the top down. They're just not a top tier organization. They find ways to take world class talent. I mean, they took probably the best backfield, made them average, took the best wide receiving core, made them below average, great tight ends, below average, offensive line sucks, and a quarterback that will not stay in the pocket. So it's just tough for me to believe in that offense. Oh God, we over here, 49ers over here jerking each other off.
Ed Bay, what's up? Mostert, yeah, buddy, I don't think he's going to be top 5. But you'll see later in the show that I definitely believe that he's a lot better than an RB3, which is what he's currently going at. That's ridiculous to me. Strictly ridiculous, especially with Breida gone to Miami. It's crazy that he's the 25th to 30th running back off the board. I do not understand, but that happens in my.
Who is Dillon? You said you would take Dillon over Gurley. Are you talking about Corey Dillon? He retired 15 years ago.
No, AJ Dillon, the rookie.
Okay. All right. All right. On to fantasy wide receiver. Ryan, are you drunk again? Have you got out of quarantine? Yes, you damn right we have a kicker's bracket. I'm just playing. We don't even have a defensive bracket.
I submitted a defense and an IDP, but that's just me.
All right, on to wide receivers. All right, Well, let's start off with mine as always. Michael Thomas had 743 catches last year, so I think you can make a real case in the standard league taking Hill over Thomas, but in the PPR, it's not even close. So
I don't even like Hill in the standard league.
yeah, Hill if healthy, Hill could have a monster year. But the next one, I went with Godwin. Again, our lists are pretty similar. I just think Godwin is the faster, more athletic version of the Edelmans and all these guys that Tom Brady has so effectively used over the years. I don't see more than 6 or 7 touchdowns for him at the most, but I see 115 ish catches. So in a PPR league, that's a top flight wide receiver all day. In a standard league, I don't know that I'd get him in the top 10. So in the future, we'll kind of go back and forth on these. What's up, Mr. Rich? Yeah, I had Hopkins at 6, and he could have. I won't be surprised if Dolph ends up in the top 3 in that offense, and I think he's probably a little pissed off too, just because how they traded him for a pack of cheese nabs and a Coca-Cola. You'd heard a lot of rumors though last year on the Twitter sphere about unhappy. He was unhappy in the locker, the offense. It wasn't going through him. I don't blame coaches for not putting up with that. At a certain, like, you have to evaluate. Like Jimmy Johnson said, if Troy Aikman come complain to me, I'm going to listen to him. If my third string left tackle complains to me, I'm going to tell him shut the fuck up and go on. So it's, you have to listen to Hopkins in that, but you just can't have that Antonio Brown type of scenario where it's just animosity all the time. So that's why I didn't. But I do love that offense. Obviously, I love Kyler Murray for fantasy reasons. I don't think he's a winning quarterback yet. Julio is, again, he's the Ezekiel Elliott of wide receivers. He's going to get his 8-9 touchdowns every year, 80, 90 catches, 1,300 yards, and that'll be the end of it. And his ceiling's much higher than even the rest of these guys. His speed is on par with Hill, and his physicality is on par with Thomas. It's just, I don't know. To me, I don't know that Julio seems like he's engaged, like he just loves it, like he lives for it, like Jerry Rice and the great and Randy Moss when he was locked in. I don't know that that's Julio's MO, but I got him top 4. Devontae, again, is another safe, sound, 90 catches, 7-8 touchdowns. In wide receivers, first couple rounds, I always go safe. You can count on them type of guys. And, there's so, wide receivers always so deep. There's so many guys with upside. I don't like taking big risk on the wide receivers in the first. If you're getting one of these guys, you're probably spending at least a second round pick. Some of these are first, so that's why I put Devontae at 5. Take it away, Chuck.
Yep, just comment on Hopkins as well. He's in a new offense, so that kind of took me down a bit. He's in a division with a lot better cornerbacks than AFC South. So it's going to be a little bit tougher sledding for him. I don't think that, we're going to see him as a top 3 or, in my opinion, even a 5 wide receiver until he gets more comfortable with them. Similar quarterbacks, so it's not as different as far as that. He's not going from a pocket gunslinger to a scramble quarterback. He went from that with Deshaun, so that's why he fell out of my top 5. Agreed on Michael Thomas. He's going to get 200 looks this year. Catch, 150 of them probably. Julio, I've got him at 2nd. I think if Calvin Ridley can stay healthy this year, which he wasn't last year, he's going to get a lot more one-on-ones, as well as having Todd Gurley back there. They're going to be able to catch offenses trying to sneak up a little bit. Devontae, I don't think Green Bay's drafted any help at running back or wide receiver, at least in the first round in the past 10 years. So there's not a whole lot of other people for him to throw to. So he's going to get his fair share of looks from Aaron Rodgers. Chris Godwin is right there for me. I think he was the second or third ranked in scoring for PPP wide receivers last year, and it's just going to be that much better without having 30 plus INTs go to the other team, like they did last year with Jameis. He is going to use him in the slot like he did with Edelman, but Edelman in his prime too. I had Tyreek in my top 5 just because he's such a playmaker and can break open. He can take a slant and take it to the house. They've got so much speed on that team. You're not going to be able to double everybody. Cole Hardman is almost as quick as he is. So I think he's going to have, again, if he can stay healthy, his fair share of looks and touchdowns. And your team, if your league includes return yardage, he's always has the possibility to be back there return kicks too, especially punts. So that could just even add on to his point total. So Hopkins probably was 6th here, just eked out for the reasons we talked.
All right, Philip Martin says Rodgers top quarterback. I've not been a Rodgers fan. Look at the numbers last 2-3 years. Like, I get the Rodgers lovers, but like, you pull up Kirk Cousins stats and Aaron Rodgers stats last 2 years and put them side by side, take the names, everything, and tell me which one, who's who. It's
right.
I mean, it's just
he's not had an MVP season in 4 or 5 years. He doesn't have the wide receivers to throw to like he used to. He just has Devontae. There's no Randall Cobb. Driver's gone a few years ago, so he's not a top 5 quarterback, or humble opinion.
I mean, I love Aaron. I thought in his
Aaron, sure.
In his prime, he was one of the best quarterbacks ever, and still is. But he was on pace to be top. Yeah, you're probably not wrong there, Philip. But I just I always struggled with putting him up there. Like, it's just I love Aaron, and 2 or 3 years ago, I was guilty of keep taking him round after round way too early, and he just never put up the numbers. So I've got off of that train, and it's benefited me. Derrick Henry got that money, and I don't love guys who have huge years and get big contracts. Especially Derrick's not had a great history of being great. He's had one great season. He was good 2 years ago, the last half. I think I actually liked Derrick Henry last year, but this year just he's that big body frame. I think if he's not a gym rat, he's going to have a decline. I think he's got his money. He's not going to be as motivated.
300 plus carries last year.
Yeah, I mean, that workload catches up to you. Hopkins, you're probably going to be right on that one, Philip, but I struggle putting him in there. Oh God, we got Tennessee people in here. They're going to come unglued on Henry. Yes, I said what I said, Joseph.
You can talk about about your love for Tannehill, though.
Yeah, I do love Tannehill. I think that efficiency-wise and not fantasy-wise, don't take him fantasy. He's not going to put up MVP numbers, but the guy's efficient. I think that he's, as far as winning, he's a number 1 game manager. He's not going to make mistakes. He's more mobile than you think he is. He's got the big arm. He can make all the throws. Maybe he don't always make them, but I mean, I do like him, but it's just Henry got that money. My history, I literally, when I make my fantasy draft list, one thing I always put in there, I wade into it, guys that's in contract years. I mean, it's look at it. You know, look at it throughout history. Any of these guys in contract years, you know, constant more times than not will have better years than expected. So, all right, on to tight ends. Speaking of tight ends, I've been a little bit of butt crunches today. Yep. This list a little bit different. George Kittle, maybe the bet. Kittle rings the bell. In my opinion, I've had him in like 3 of my leagues last year. Outside of quarterbacks, and not named McCaffrey, I thought he's the best offensive player in the league. And he's complete too, which that helps you in no way in fantasy. But I like Kittle at 1, and he likes him at 1. Kelsey, you can make a case for him to fantasy wise being ahead of Kittle. Another guy I like is Andrews. I think the Ravens have done a great job of developing that 2, 3, 4 tight end look.
Yeah.
And he's a mismatch. He's deceptively quicker than he looks. He's faster than he looks, and he has great hands. I'm pretty sure he beat me in the finals last year. I think he had like 32, 34 points in a PPR league. I'm almost 100% positive that I played him and Lamar, and I was way up, and I think Lamar, the only person, like he personally knew what he needed to do to beat me in fantasy, and it was throw Mark Andrews the whole game, and that's what he done.
He did it.
So, Zach Ertz, to me, there's such a drop off after Andrews at tight end, in my opinion. I love Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz, healthy, you can make a case that he's in the top 1 or 2, but he's constantly getting nicked up, missing a game here, being out a quarter here, and that stuff takes away on your totals. I went Evan Ingram probably has the most upside of everybody on this list. He's a big wide receiver. He's faster than these guys are. He's bigger, stronger, but he don't have all the options around him, all the weapons, quarterbacks, the offensive scheme to get him the ball, and at times he doesn't seem to be engaged in every play. So, upside, if you're looking for an upside guy, maybe a keeper league, Evan could be a good pick for you. And I don't like Jared Cook a lot, so
yeah, I mean, Jared Cook's good. I mean, he's on the Saints, who you're going to get a lot of passes, but he's streaky. There's several games last year that he didn't show up, and then the next game he had 6 catches for 100+ yards and a touchdown or 2. So don't think he cracks my top 5. Of course, Kittle at the top, the best tight end in the game. Hopefully they can get him locked up soon with the contract, and that way Scotty won't draft him. Kelsey, a lot of mouths to feed there in KC. So that's the only reason that I don't think that he's going to be the top tight end in the league. Ertz, I kept him in my top 3 though. I think that he's probably going to get hurt again, but can last the whole season. He is Wentz's security blanket. It'll be easy to just dump it off to him when nobody gets open deep. Darren Waller, liked him a lot in the Hard Knocks episodes, so kind of drew me into him and watch how I did over the season. I think he ended up top 10 tight end as far as points go. I can't remember overall exactly what he was, but he was top 10 for sure. I think that he and Carr are going to be good in Vegas. And Mark Andrews, I've had him in years past in several different leagues, including last year, and he did a great job. I think them losing Hayden Hurst to Atlanta, who they traded a 2nd-round pick for, I think that he's not going to have as good of a tight end there at the tight end 2 spot to kind of take some pressure off of him. I still think he makes top 5, but he's replicate the same numbers he had last year. So Hooper, and going back in falling on what Scotty said earlier. He's going to Cleveland, so I can't trust. You know, they've got him. They've got Njoku. You know, Landry, OBJ. So I don't think that he.
All right. So we kind of done a. We're going to call this. Well, this is more the sleepers breakouts, but it's outside of the tier 1 last year that will break into it. And I kind of got wild with the first quarterback here. I think Carr is somewhere around 27, 28 in average draft positions. But only reason Carr didn't have a monster year last year is because he didn't throw a touchdown. That's it. That was it. He had a 70% completion rate, 3,200 yards. His offensive weapons are better. They added Ruggs. On paper, probably the best offensive line. They do struggle staying healthy year after year. But so this is why I put Derek Carr this high. So he'll be my sleeper and my fantasy tier 1 because, like I said, he is the 28th average draft position, and according to Fantasy Pros and ESPN. I think Carr's huge. I think he gets in the top 10, Ryan. Like, you guys want me to rock chalk here? I think Derek Carr has a big season. We'll write this down and we'll go back and review it. I mean, you're talking to the 3-time champ, Ryan. Okay?
We'll check the tape after
we'll check it. We'll record all this. I like Derek Carr. Late rounds, you probably can get him somewhere around 12th, 13th, 14th round, just depending on how it goes. And he'll end up being your starter the last half of the season, Ron. And you'll be like, those guys at ECB really knew what they were talking about. So they have one of the fastest wide receiving cores on earth now. He's accurate as F, 70% completion rate. He just did not put the ball in the end zone last year. I know that matters, but you know, we can't pick Patrick Mahomes at every quarterback position. You've got to get some reaches here. Again, I went with a little Raiders chalk here. Josh Jacobs, I think he's complete. Ruben likes to just feed him the ball in the end zone, as evident by Carr never had any touchdown passes last year. This was aforementioned Todd Gurley somewhere around 16th, 17th. I had him in my top 5. I mean, Todd Gurley, when he's right, one if not the best back in the NFL.
3 years ago.
Yeah. I thought about even continuing with my shock value here, but I did lay off of it, and I think I put him in the sleepers. But Juju, I like Juju. Juju just seemed, once Raping Burgers went down, he just seemed disinterested, like he didn't want to be out there anymore. But up until that, when Brown was there, Juju was a top 10, top 15 wideout. Now he's their number 1 option. They do have weapons around him. Connor's going to be back at full health. Their line will be at full health. Obviously, having Ben back helps. So I think Juju's a good pickup here. We actually had the same guy here, TJ
Hawkinson
the Jockinson.
He was a beast in a few games last year, man. He was really good. He's an Iowa boy, same place George Kittle went.
Yeah, he reminds you a lot of Gronk, or he does me when he's on the field.
Yep.
Just without the fun. So I like TJ. I think having Stafford back helps too, but that's my outside tier 1. We'll make it into tier 1. So.
Yep, and I kind of break on the Cleveland mold here, kind of, talk some trash about Hooper and folks earlier, but I think Baker makes a comeback. Definitely dropped out of the top tier last year, but down the stretch, he had a horrible start to the season. But down the stretch, he averaged almost 300 yards a game for the last half of the season and threw 19 touchdowns, so maybe they're starting to get things dialed in there. I'm sure the coaches will find something to do to mess it up, but I think Baker breaks back into a tier 1 QB1. You got my man Mostert there again. You know, he's 25th to 30th running back off the board. Yeah, they're still going to have Tevin, and they're going to rotate out, but man showed what he could do in the playoffs last year, and then they stopped running him in the fourth quarter, and that's why they lost. But I think, yeah, I said it, all you KC boys out there. But I think he will be a top 10 running back for sure. I think Melvin is going to have a little bit of revenge set for him. I think he probably wanted to go to somebody in the AFC West, and now he landed with the Broncos. They have a little bit of a running back by community there. Philip Lindsay's nice, but I think that Melvin will bounce back and be a tier 1 running back. DJ Shark was awesome down the stretch as well last year for Jacksonville. Man can just catch anything, has a huge catch radius. I think that he will definitely be one of your top wide receivers, just depending on if they can have a quarterback that stays in there, whether it's Manchu Mania or whoever it may be. Then we've got Gallup. I think Gallup is going to be a great wide receiver for the Cowboys this year. Cooper is going to draw a lot of attention. Cooper was a top 10 wide receiver last year, but I think that Gallup is going to get that. He had some games last year that he really started to step up. And then we got Hawkinson again. If he can be consistent like he was in a few games last year, I think that he can be the real deal there in Detroit. They don't have they've got Galladay, Marvin Jones on the outside, so hopefully he can keep some of those safeties off of them.
All right. Comments from the peanut gallery.
Hey, Coach, you talked about Noah Fant and Ebron. May go on to talk about Ebron later, but I think Fant's going to be great. And especially if they put him and the other tight end they drafted in there. He's a pretty quick guy, too. I won't even try to pronounce his name. Okwa Jubini. I think Noah Fant, good year. Definitely not top. It was between maybe him and Ebron for my sleepers. So.
Of course I would, Chung Wei. I mean, any 3-time champion that wouldn't. Moss is solid. Carr is solid. Thank you for a great question, Brad. He's going to have a huge season. You killed me last year. Thought he'd break out without Brown. Jonathan Taylor. I like Jonathan Taylor. I'll get to him here in a bit.
I think Mac is still going to have plenty of carries, though. It's going to take an injury to Mac.
I wouldn't sell bad crack.
Only the best.
Yeah. I don't like OJ because too many splits. It's just, I mean, that is offensive. That's the best offensive weapon Brady's ever had. So I don't know who he gets the ball to.
Unless Gronk gets hurt, OJ is going to get 50% playing time. He's lucky.
All right, on to the sleepers here. Derek Carr made another appearance. It's still outside the top 20 ADP. All right, we're writing this down, guys. We're going to revisit this once they shut down the season about week 10 with Rona. But I like David Johnson. I think Chuck's talked about him in the past. Yeah. Somebody's got to get those touches that Hopkins had. They're going somewhere. David Johnson was the poor man's Christian McCaffrey 2 or 3 years ago. He was the best dual threat running back out there. Then I think he got the herpes. Something in his arm, and that was the end of that. I picked Devin Singletary as my second halfback, and really the only reason is because I have every rookie card that he's ever come out with. And I'm so fucking tired of seeing him in every pack that I open that I'm hoping he's the next Christian McCaffrey. That way I can get rid of all these damn cards. So another one that I actually really do like is Deshaun Jackson. He torched y'all's asses week 1 last year. Then he got hurt for the rest of the season. So if we're talking sleeper, somebody outside the top 20, you draft Deshaun, I'll guarantee you'll start him week 1. Write it down. You can make fun of me. When it comes time to make out your roster for the week 1, Deshaun Jackson will be starting unless you just go ham the first 2 rounds on wide receivers. Don't know if he'll stay healthy. If he's healthy and on the field, he's a top 10, top 15 wide receiver. Yes, he's getting older, but, Wentz and the Eagles don't have another option there. Greg Olsen, this is probably more of a sentimental pick. I think Greg Olsen was somewhere around 27, 28. Just what other options do they have at tight end there? What, Disley? Disley is a walking medical ward. I mean, he looks at a football field and gets injured for 2 months.
How many times has Greg Olsen been injured over the past few years?
Not as much as Disley has. That guy is. I mean, it's to the point you feel bad for him. Like he walks out on the field and.
I don't feel bad for any Seahawks getting in.
So that's why I like Olsen. Olsen's could be a safe outside the injuries. Olsen's a really safe pick, but that's a huge risk. So I think Olsen could have a 60, 70 catch season, 6, 7 touchdowns. That puts him in the top 10 pretty easily. That is my sleepers. And again, guys, we're not rocking chalk. We're not picking Patrick Mahomes and Christian McCaffrey. It's outside of the average draft position plus 20. According to ESPN Fantasy Pros, I didn't just try to pick 21. So I think Chuck did, but I'm trying to spice it up for you guys.
There's nobody here that's picked 21 for sure. Yeah, I think quarterback Drew Lock started to come on late in the year. They added, 2 new weapons for him. Jerry Jeudy is going to be awesome. I've got him as a breakout wide receiver as well. But I think just Drew Lock will hopefully become the real deal that the Broncos thought he would be. Drafted him a couple years back. Cam Akers, another rookie. I think, who does he have in front of him on the list right now in LA? Like Malcolm Brown, Darrell Henderson. He was pretty good talent in college. I think he can come in there and win that first spot and creep up in top 20 running backs in the league in his rookie year. Same thing with DeAndre Swift. Kerryon Johnson seems to get hurt every year. That's why they went out there and got DeAndre out of Georgia in the draft this year. So I think that DeAndre is going to get his fair share. Probably will start out with a running back by committee if he can get caught up. And then when Kerryon goes down, he'll be the lead back, and I think that it'll be great. We talked about Jerry Jeudy. He was probably the best route runner coming out of college in a stacked wide receiver class. They've got Cortland Sutton on the outside there that I think will probably draw some double teams and leave him on some one-on-one coverage, and probably going to break some cornerbacks down. Also have Henry Ruggs there. When we do our rookie team, I won't have to talk much because half of them make my sleeper team here. Ruggs is just unbelievable speed. Of course, the Raider way, that's what they wanted, so they went out and got him. But I think Chucky's going to be able to use him in ways that get him the ball in open field, and he can make a couple of moves, and then he's off to the house. So, and then tight end, I think Eric Ebron going to Pittsburgh. If Ben can stay healthy for the full year, he's going to put up some big numbers there for them. Even in split duty with the Colts, he had some unbelievable numbers. So long that Ben stays healthy, I think he's going to get a lot of looks, a lot of red zone looks like he did in Indianapolis. 7, 8 touchdowns himself. So all sleeper team.
Right, on to bust. I believe we had decided top 10 and won't return. See how it's Jameis Winston at quarterback. Like the guy was like 3 or 4.
That's an easy pick.
It's a layup. Yeah, that was the question.
Was he top 10?
Yeah, he was like 3rd or 4th.
Because he had 5,000 yards and 30
yeah, like 30 something. Yeah, but it's only -2 for the pick. So he was easily a top 10 quarterback. I think he was. I'm 100% sure he was top 5. But anyways, Mark Ingram with Dobbins. Ingram is 104 in running back years. I love Mark Ingram. I love the way he plays. All of those adjectives, but Dobbins is going to get some of those touches. Like I said earlier, I think defenses, you give these people that get paid millions and millions of dollars and 6 months to sit there and look at every play that you ever run, they're going to figure things out. You look at the Wildcat, all these gimmick offenses, stuff like that. Give them time. They figure it out. They figure out how to beat it, how to change personnel to match up better against it. I think Ingram takes a step back. I think Lamar was such a outside option read threat that it really opened things up in the middle for him. So I think all those combinations, I wouldn't be surprised if Ingram didn't fall out of the top 20, let alone the top 10. Aaron Jones was just the anomaly. If he got within 5 yards, if they got within 5 yards of the end zone, he was getting the ball. Whether it was passing, running, struggling to remember exactly how many touchdowns he had, but it was, I want to say, somewhere around 10 or 11. Gets half of that, I would be surprised. So I just think you take that away, his numbers really, really drop off. Cooper, I think with, was it CD Lamb being added to him. Amari, again, another one of those. Got his money. More options going around. Zeke was kind of nicked up a little bit last year on and off. I think all of those combinations, Amari's going to, there's only one football in the field, and I just think CD's going to get in on those. Zeke's going to be back. I don't think the Cowboys' record is as good as it was last year, and I think they won, 9 games? I don't like that. I don't love that team. We probably have a few Cowboys lovers in here. I'm sorry, but it doesn't seem like it fits when it needs to fit. They had the easiest road to the playoffs last year, and just in spite of themselves couldn't get there. Everything in the world went right for them to get in the playoffs, and they still couldn't do it. I think their entire division's better than they were last year. The Eagles are decimated by injuries. I think the Giants are a year older. I think Ron's a better coach than Corner Smoking Jay.
Corner Jay Smoking Jay.
Yeah, I think they're better. I think that whole division's better, which is maybe somebody with a 10-win season, makes it to the playoffs. I don't know how much better they are, but I think the division as a whole is better. I don't know that the Cowboys got that much better. Dallas Goedert, not a fan of his.
He only got top 10 because Zach was hurt for so long. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's so many balls. I think I did pick him up in a couple of leagues, but it's just Zach's gonna dominate the ball when he's on the field. So that guy's gonna fall off there. But I'll let Chuck go over his bust here.
Yep. Chinwei, you called out Josh Allen as should be a sleeper. Well, he was in the top 10 last year, so don't know about much of a sleeper there. I think that he's going to fall out of the top 10. The man had 9 rushing TDs as a quarterback last year. If you want to look up how many quarterbacks have had 2 straight seasons of 9 rushing touchdowns, I'll wait. Okay, you didn't find any? Okay. So I think even though he does have better wide receivers, and with Diggs coming over in that trade, I think that he's going to tail off some. Aaron Jones, like you said, if he was within the end zone last year, he scored. He had 19 rushing touchdowns. Also, not going to be replicated. It hasn't been done since LT, LaDainian Tomlinson did it 15 years ago. So he definitely have a downtick for him. Dalvin Cook, I'm not as high as him on him as Scotty is. He also had a boatload of TDs last year. He's also just too injury prone. I think he'll probably end up missing a couple games here and there just because of injury. Kenny Galladay out of Detroit was a top 10 wide receiver last year. Had 11 TDs. I don't think that's going to happen again. He just had some lots of looks in the red zone. I think that kind of is going to go away as Hawkinson's gets more looks there. Julian Edelman was actually 7th, which I was surprised to see that. 7th in PPR scoring. I knew Tommy, threw it to him 20 times a game, so shouldn't surprise me too much. But I think with Tom being gone, a new quarterback, hopefully it's Cam, but it's going to be a little bit different this year for him and the Patriots, I feel. I think he's going to fall out. And then someone mentioned Hooper. Again, he was 5th last year for tight ends. New team, lots of mouths to feed, and the Browns are going to mess it up somewhere. And also got Njoku, so I don't think that he returns to top 10 of tight ends.
All right, on to our own rookie team. I can see Miles Sanders becoming an elite back.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen him going top 10 in a lot of mock drafts. I mean, I think he can be. He probably could have fit in the breakout for me. Definitely not a sleeper because the ADP is too high. Not a top 5 running back for me, but I think that everything's there for him. Stays healthy. He'd be top tier running back as well.
All right, all rookie team. Again, I just trying not to rock chalk, for us to have varying opinions here. But so I went with Justin Herbert. I do think he has a much better system to go to. I think he has better weapons, better wide receivers, a better offensive line. He's more mobile. I think he gets more rushing yards than Burrow. I think Burrow's a stud. But for just talking strictly fantasy points, I didn't update. Sorry guys, I didn't update the rookie list. I just seen that on there. But anyways, this is the all rookie team. But anyways, back to Herbert. I think he's a better option as far as fantasy goes. Going to get probably have 250, 350 rushing yards and probably end up 3, 4, 5 touchdowns rushing. And then their offensive passing stats will probably be pretty similar, but I just think the rushing stats is enough to make the difference. Jonathan Taylor, I had at my halfback. I actually like him better than I do Hilaire, which I have Hilaire as the next one. I think a lot of the points that Chuck made about a lot of balls to go around there. I can't see it happening. I think Hilaire, which Taylor's in the same boat, but I think Jonathan's the man. I think he gets the touches. I think he gets the goal line carries. I think he gets the third down reps. I think he gets the full package there. I think Hilaire has got too many other people vying for the ball. I think he's great. I love it. He has a low center of gravity. He catches everything. He's a great dual threat. But I do like Taylor better than I do him. I went with Justin Jefferson. Thielen's going to be back. That's going to bring off pressure on the other side. Cousins is. Yeah, for whatever reason, his wide receivers put up fantasy numbers. They always have. Justin Jefferson is, he physically gifted. He's one of the most physically gifted. He is a Julio Jones light. He's not on that talent level. There's not a lot of people who are, but he's big, he's fast, he's strong, and he has great hands. So I could easily see Justin Jefferson being the top wide receiver. And I think he probably has feel a little under the radar. Like he was dominant in the playoffs. You can make a case that he was the best best on the field. So I think he's going to take a little bit of that personal with the Jerry Jeudy and Ruggs and all these people going before him. Well, not all of them, but a few of them going before him. I went with Trapman. Down in New Orleans. I think he ends up as the starting tight end, and I think in that offense that could be really good for him. There's not a huge amount of really good tight ends coming out. So Troutman was the best of the bad that I could come up with. I think we looked it up. He was listed third on the depth chart, but I see him being. I think he ends up with the starting job. If he ends up with the starting job, then that's all you need to be the top tight end rookie this year in a good offense like that. DJ Moore is going 12th in most drafts. At wide receiver. How's he a sleeper, Chung Wei? You know who else I think could be a big sleeper this year? Tyreek Hill. All right, Chuck. I'll let you have your rookie run here. And then
well, I can agree with you with Abear. I think that they're going to ride the Tyrod train for a little while and give him at least a half a year. Something was to go horribly wrong, he might get thrown in there. But if Tyrod manages games and wins a few, I don't know if Abear will see much playing time. I think Joe Burrow comes in and gets the starting job out the gate. AJ's going to be healthy. Guy on the other side of him just totally escaped my mind with the other wide receiver. Last year wasn't as good, Tyler Boyd, but it was really good when AJ was there and helped him take some of the heat away from him. So
you still got Ross.
Yeah, and you got a burner on the outside.
Yeah, takes the top
with
off
Ross,
stuff.
So I think Burrow is in a good situation and is going to be a great quarterback going forward, and probably be the top scoring quarterback as a rookie quarterback this year. Hilaire, talked about him in my top 5. While there are a lot of mouths to feed there, he is about the only rookie that is clear path to the number 1 spot to hardly anybody else there. And then, spreading the love a little bit, I did have 2 rookies at running back for my sleeper list, but I think J.K. Dobbins has the possibility of getting some real playing time. I think he's probably going to be third down back, maybe him and Justin Jackson or Justice Hill, one of the two. Will probably fight out that, and then if anything happens to old man Ingram, then he's going to just slide right into that role as running back overall. Jerry Jeudy, talked about him. I think he'll be the number 1 rookie wide receiver this year in scoring. And then for tight end, I went with a little Thaddeus Moss, undrafted, went to the Washington football team, and Jordan Reed's not there anymore. Not a whole lot of people in front of him. He's currently like 2nd or 3rd on the depth chart for the Redskins. But I think he's just got that hit factor from his dad. And he's going to do everything he can to be in that starting role. And is going to be a big target for whoever's throwing the ball, either Alex Smith or blank on there. Secondary QB's name, Haskins. So I think that he's going to be the top scoring rookie tight end. Like Scotty said, there's not a whole lot out there that are far and away going to have any close to a starting job. Maybe Cole Kmet in Chicago, but I went with a little gut shot here with Thaddeus Moss.
All right, we'll go over some comments here, and that'll be the show. We'll maybe try to do this every couple weeks, something like that. Maybe do one right before the season actually starts. Says, shit, I didn't know DJ was that highly drafted. You have no knees girly in your top 5, brought to you by Chung Wei's son. All right, Chung Wei. Chung Wei is like the preemptive sticker bitch every year in every league he plays in. So your comments mean nothing. They just fall off of me. Robert is a smarter man than the team he pulls for would indicate. He agrees with me on the Herbert comment. Bruce, what's up, Bruce? I hadn't seen you in here. All right, that's about all we got as far as the fantasy goes. We'll probably get on here in a minute or two and open some cards. Bunch of Chronicles going to be in Thursday. A few of them are pre-sold, but anyways, guys, if you did like the show, like, thumbs up, subscribe, all that stuff, it'd be greatly appreciated. If you have any feedback, anything you think would be fun to see, let us know, because obviously we can only go over the top 5 once before the season starts. So we'll be searching for content. The next few shows probably won't last about an hour. We'll try to keep them around 30 minutes. We were up to about 18, 19 viewers at one point, and the longer it's went, the more it's fell off. So the same person says, want to be famous, buy followers, primes, and views on bigfollowers.com. Thank you, but I will pass. So,
and thanks to everybody that commented and clicked on going to this event. Don't forget that you will be entered into a free break of a 2020 Legacy Football box. So we will compile that list and get a message out to everyone that did comment and click going, and let you know when that break is going to be. So hopefully all of you can come back and watch and talk sports with us during that as well.
Yeah, we should do that probably Wednesday or Thursday. Like I said, guys, I'm going to be out of town Friday, probably by 2 o'clock. So it won't be back to approximately 3 or 4 Sunday evening. So, but I am going to shut this stream down. And we'll restart back up here in about 10 or 15 minutes. I do appreciate it, and thank you guys for watching.